The MSRP on the current generation of this gun, $2,200. That's retail. You might get it for $1,900, maybe $2,000. I don't really know. This is the Mod 0 generation of the Knights Armament SR-15. Mod 1 came and went. Mod 2 being produced right now. From my research, my own shooting of this gun, I think all the mods are pretty similar. There are some bolt changes, some other minor changes. Rail has changed. The lower receiver has changed. I may mention some of that as we go along. But the foundation is this. Is the gun worth $2,200? Let's just say $1,900. We'll knock $300 off retail. Again, this is Mod 0, Mod 2, Mod 1, pretty similar. Now, before we answer that question, we have to visit some data points, stuff I've discovered in shooting this gun. And even before we go there, I'm going to read to you right now actual quotes I found today on the interweb about the Knights Armament SR-15. I'm not making these up, these are verbatim. One dude said, "You just have to feel one in person to understand just how well the gun handles and balances." Another guy said, "Top 3 best out-of-the-box guns ever." Whoa, he's selling it pretty hard. Another guy says, "It just shoots amazing." And this guy says, "Truly game-changing features." Interesting. There's that game-changing thing again, way overplayed. Another guy says, had me questioning my current SOP of building my own rifles. The gun was so good. Another guy says, $2,000 asking price is a bargain. Okay. Another guy says, something intangible that defies comparison to anything else. We'll get to the bottom of all this. A couple more. Another guy says, and he's talking about the Knights Armament SR-15 series of rifles. I don't know which particular mod. It doesn't really matter. I've forgotten how amazing this rifle is. Another one says, highly sought after by those in the know. So if you're in the know, you'll get this gun, apparently. Another guy says, shoot one, it'll make you a believer. And I could go on and on with similar, you know it's coming, horseshit comments on the internet. That's right, I said it. No apologies. These are way over the top comments of guys who are totally confused between second kind of cool and first kind of cool. The SR-15 is a great gun. I'm not saying that at all. You'll see as much as we go along. I'll show you a little bit of shooting footage here and there. It's a great gun. The question is it worth $2,000? For $1,000, you can go out and get a really, really good AR. Factory produced. Extremely accurate. Extremely durable. I know because I've reviewed several here in TMP. That's not even debatable. And yet, some of these comments indicate that those are just hobby guns. That, you know, if you're the true operator, you'll go with a KAC, or any other upscale AR, because those are what guys, there's his phrase again, in the know really get. Philosophy of use is going to be standard. I've covered it a lot. I'm not going to, defensive rifle, WROL, competition, recreational, all that stuff. I'm going to add this though, and this is where we need to break it down with the Knights Armament SR-15 series. Mods 0 to whatever. Is they imbue some guys with a feeling of, here comes that word, tacticalness. Why? Because of Knights' association with the U.S. military. The guns used in the U.S. military. The special operations community. So, guy goes out and buys a KAC SR15, goes to the forum, shows the pictures, and in a lot of forums, he's going to get cred. Guys are going to like, oh, you choose right. You, my friend, are in the know. You see what I'm saying? That is definitely what goes on the internet all the time. So, second kind of cool, it's okay to say, yeah, the KAC is amazing. It just turns me on, but don't make the statement these guys are doing that, you know, it's a game changer, has amazing features, that it's the best, that anybody who really knows what's going on is going to buy a Knights Armament. Again, it's a good gun, but remember the competition. I mean, these are some bold, actually stupid statements. Sorry. They just are. I mean, you're saying it's better than a BCM, better than a Colt, JP, LWRC, Delton, Smith & Wesson. The list goes on and on. The answer's, in my book, no. No way. As good? Well, let's see. Let's see. Again, this is Mod 0. I wish I could have got a Mod 2, you know, but I hooked into this one for a loaner. And it gives us an opportunity to visit, again, a high-end AR. So I was reading that one guy's comment. He's like, well, you got to lift it up. And, oh, my gosh, the balance and feel of this gun is just truly amazing. And I did say horse shit, and I want to stick by that because it is not. It's just like any other AR. When I lift it, I hoist it. It's not super light, the Mod 0. I think it's lost a little bit of weight as time has gone on. It's not horrible. I mean, it's decent, and this one has glass on it. No game changing going on here. Sorry, it's not. And the balance is like any other AR-15 that I've hoisted. I love the coloration on the Mod 0. You guys know I love FDE. This is Cerakoted FDE, I believe, and it's excellent. You can see this user who owns this, by the way, thank you very much for the loan, has used it a lot. He loves this gun, loves it. And I said, hey, I'm going to give an honest tabletop. I'm going to tell my opinion on the gun. Don't be offended if I say some negative stuff about it. And he goes, no, dude, no worries. I love it. I'm never selling it. Mature dude, mature guy, and awesome. And here's a trivia thing. He's a former F-16 squadron commander. That's pretty awesome. Cool. But the gun, it handles just like any other AR. I love the profile of the barrel, which is cold hammer forged, wearing a standard bird cage on it for now. Usually didn't put on anything trick, and I think this is representative of a lot of guys that actually get out and use their guns. This guy does use this gun a lot. He loves it. Super reliable, he reports, and he's happy with a standard A2 bird cage. I think a lot of people will say, oh, that's inadequate. You need to put this device, that device. No, it works fine. And it did in our testing. It's cool. It's a 223. You're not shooting a 338 mag here. I might elaborate on the profile of the barrel. It's perfect after the gas block, which is held in place on the Mod 0 by 2 screws. They have since changed that, but I have no problem with this attachment method at all. I've used it on several guns. It's never came loose, never twisted on me. You know, some guys will go on and on about how to properly attach a gas block the mil-spec way, and I think Mod 2 uses it an entirely different attachment method. Let me say this here, and it's appropriate for everything I ever review. Every manufacturer wants to create in the consumer's mind differences, how their product is special, and they're going to sell it hard. They may tear down the competition in doing so, and they might be little things that really don't have any bearing on the overall performance of a product, but that doesn't matter, because if the consumer believes it, he's going to buy it, and that's what they're after. And I'm not talking just about KAC here. I'm talking about all guns, all knives. They sell it, and they're really going to play up on, you know, the differences. And while we're here, let's talk about them on the Mod 2. Mod 2 has rounded lugs on the bolt. It's like a 20,000 round warranty, I guess, on the bolt on current generation of Knights Armament SR-15s. Dual spring extractor, ambi releases. This one has that too. And a URX 4 key mod rail on it. All good. I mean, that's all cool. But again, the competition, we kind of got to look at it. Has it too. Or even things that are more useful to certain users. Back to the barrel though. It's good after the gas block. However, it's going to get run skinny under the handguard. Kind of a government profile. Not a showstopper with me, but I generally, as I've said throughout the years, have been very consistent with this. Don't like it. I'd rather have a medium profile barrel all the way through for duration of fire and fluted to save a few ounces. That's what I'd like. All my SPR builds have those barrels on them. You can dimple the barrel, flute it, whatever, get that weight out of it. This doesn't have any of it. I don't think the Mod 1 did either. The Mod 2 might have some dimpling on it to get rid of some of the weight. So It is a very high quality barrel though, from what I know. Cold hammer forged, chrome lined, mil spec. There's that phrase again, and you guys know how I feel about mil spec. It's old fashioned. I just like the quality aspect of mil spec and the testing, the durability testing. Everything else I don't care about. Old fashioned quad rail on this Mod Zero SR15. I don't like it at all. It's way too fat. It's heavy. It does have built-in BUIS on the front right here. I didn't use those at all, but that's kind of cool. I mean, it's there. It's lightweight. It's an emergency backup sight. The user on this gun has the rail covers on it. It makes it a little bit fatter. The Mod 2 is going to have that URX4 rail. Makes it a little bit thinner, and it'll flare out towards the front, I think. This has a nice lower on it. Knights Armament logo to imbue the owner with tacticalness, I guess. And Knights Armament actually has a kind of a checkered history in U.S. military service. A lot of guys really hated. I think some improvements were made. My big issue is this. I just think they're way overpriced to the U.S. military and to civilians as well. I've seen a lot of Knights products on the shelves and on the walls, and I look at the tag and I almost fall over. And it just is ridiculous how much they charge. And this gun is kind of like that. It is. That I just think for what they're charging, you're getting a very high quality AR-15, but something you could get same quality level for about half the price. Spoiler alert. Here's the ambidextrous controls. So the fire safety selector, mag release, bolt release on both sides. You can't change the ejection, so it's going to eject right. Standard forgings and high quality forgings. He kept the standard A2 pistol grip on there, no upgrades. It's wearing a P-mag right there. It's got kind of a cool proprietary trigger guard hinge thing going on there. I didn't swing that open, had no need to. Then it's got the QD cup receiver on here. That has gone bye-bye. And this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I mean, 7-8 years ago, this was all the rage. That if your gun did not have a QD cup on it, everyone was like, oh, what is going on? Are you crazy? And now what's the status of that now? I think the Mod 2 just has a regular end plate with an attachment there. I could be wrong though. The thing about the KAC SR15 and all their guns is they are very high quality. And everything I'm saying should not be construed to say they're not. This is an M16 bolt. It has MPI on it, shot peened, everything's staked. I mean, it's as good as an AR bolt can get, right? I mean, M4 feed ramps, everything. It's upscale. But my point is, a lot of other manufacturers at a lower price point will have all that. Your builds that you put together will have all that and more. Yeah, there you go. Let's pull the trigger. Talking kind of like SAWC design and ergos. I actually love the trigger on this, and it's a stock trigger. It's not an aftermarket, and I wouldn't replace it, which is an upside to this gun. I think it's going to pull about 5.5. Exactly, 5.5. 2-stage, really crisp break. It's one of the better stock triggers I fired. There you go. Something super positive, actually. How much does it weigh, by the way? What would you think? Wearing the Nikon M22, M223 rail, M223 scope, which, by the way, I love. I think they're great scopes. I like the dials. They're adequately clear. They have a good reticle system in it. I have them on several guns. I like them for the money. How much does this thing weigh? Remember, it's got that skinny barrel under the handguard, which saves a lot of weight. If you said 8 pounds, 12 ounces, you're right on the money. That's how much this thing weighs, which to me is kind of heavy. It's a 16-inch barreled tactical carbine. The SPRs I build, fully glassed, weigh less than that. And that's with an 18-inch full profile barrel, fluted, and other careful accessory selections, component selections. So when I read those quotes, I'm like saying, for me to really buy into what those guys are saying, it'd have to be, and we're going to get to this, super accurate, super light. I don't think the durability, and we'll just jump ahead now, of the SR15 series is in question. I don't. I think, and this is a great data point, dudes who have taken it into carbine classes have loved it. It runs good. It doesn't break down. It's not one of those guns that all the students are waiting for to come back online. It's not that. I mean, and it shouldn't be. I mean, MPI, shot peened, a lot of quality testing, quality components, hammer forged barrel. It should run really, really well, right? This one just has the end plate with a castle nut on it, and it's wearing the LMT SOP mod stock, which I do not like at all. It's kind of funny they didn't coat this, by the way. I mean, come on, man. For a $2,000 gun, pull this thing off and coat the whole tube. That's hilarious to me. The SOP mods are okay. I think they're really have fallen out of favor. They're just too damn heavy. And I don't need a compartment for my batteries. I think I have a gun or two with it on, and I've left it on just for cost savings, but I'd go with an MFT one myself, save some weight. And it might lighten the gun up if you just peel this up by itself. There's a QD sling attachment here, also in the forward rail and the pick rail, if I didn't say so. So standard AR. I mean, it's the firepower standard, but nothing I can add there. All the standard mags you can take. Well, but let's get to the other thing. I said it had to be super light. It's not super light. It's not. I think super light nowadays is like 7 pounds, maybe 6.5 pounds. Without glass, with a magazine in it, with a 16-inch barreled gun. That's good. You don't want your, by the way, you don't want your AR to be too light, like 4.5 pounds. They're harder to shoot. I mean, they're wandering all over the place. I'm speaking from experience, like having shot such guns as a Kel-Tec CMR 30. That's a lightweight gun. I mean, it's really wandering all over the place. So there's a happy medium. Here's accuracy. So it should shoot one hole for the price. Instead, it shoots like this. For the KAC SR15 Mod 0. But all the mods are going to shoot the same. It's the same barrel. Tactical ammunition, which is a very accurate load, stringing to about 3 inches. Cellar and bellet, very accurate load, horizontally stringing to about 3 to 4 inches. And these are all good trigger presses. Here's another TAC A, about 2.5 MOA. This one's about 1.5. That's actually a decent group. And I was like, come on, the gun's got to do better than this. I'm really, really striving to have it shoot well, because it would excite me to bring it to the table and have it shoot well. But this kind of continued. You'd have 3 in one group and a flyer. Another group here. This, by the way, is a completely different ammunition. This is American Eagle. And I also shot some 77 grain match, and it wasn't much better. Kind of like this one. I think this is 77 grain match. So that's disappointing. That's really disappointing with an ammunition that expensive and that consistent. The best group I got out of the KAC SR15 was this one, American Eagle. So you might have to experiment and you might be able to get it, but I'm going to call it a 2 to 3 MOA shooter from my experience. Yeah, I just calls it as I see it, man. Which gets back to my intro, man. I was like, game changer? No, let's go back. Here's another high-end AR. The LaRues are really high-end and they're pretty damn excellent. Look at the accuracy I got out on my 20-inch. We're just showing these by way of reference. 55 grain. I'm going to go super fast. That's the kind of group I'd expect out of Match Kings. Fiocchi 77. Excellent. Here's a DDM V11 we shot the other day by way of reference. Same ammunition. It was shooting better. Look at that group. Some vertical stringing there. It's not awesome. And that's some Black Hills ammo. I don't know what it was, so maybe about the same. And then last but not least, here's one of my SPR builds. So my SPR builds I can put together for around 1,500, maybe a little bit more depending on the glass, maybe 1,700. But they'll shoot like this all day long. So probably I'm looking at 1 MOA, easily 1.5 MOA. There's Nosler. Check that out, XM193. So I'm super stoked if a gun is super accurate, and that's just the way it is. I would say, again, 2 to 3 MOA, and I think I did some more research, and most people will say this about the SR15s. I don't get it, man. I don't see where the enthusiasm is coming from, except that association with the military. Some guys, hey, it's an operator's gun. I want to have credibility. I'm going to buy a brand that people know and respect. That way I'll get credibility. That's just the way it goes online. And nothing's going to change. That will go on forever and ever. It's not just guns. It's everything. Guys are just that way. There you go. I think the quality of materials are excellent. Really. This is, again, is kind of a dated mod with a SOP mod here. The rail is dated. The Mod 2, I'll roll some photos in somewhere. It's going to be more upgraded. I don't think you'd see a change in accuracy at all. The reliability should be great. It should be great. Again, reports from guys who put a lot of rounds through it are tops. But again, the question, is it worth $2,000? $1,900? I would say I would not buy one. No way. I would either build my own AR and get exactly the components I want, the barrel that I know will deliver half MOA, 1 MOA accuracy. I'd get the stock I want, the trigger I want, or I'd go out and buy just a factory squared away rifle, a Rock River. But wait, that's a hobby gun. I would never run a Rock River. See, we get into kind of that, the YouTube dynamics, you know, those hobby brands aren't good enough for the true tactical elite, you know, the truly enlightened. And I think that's, again, a bunch of horse crap. They run. For the amount of rounds that most guys will put through them, they'll be fine. If you're a high rounds count guy, 3-gun guy, then, you know, buy a Colt. You know, buy a BCM or whatever, LWRC, run with that. And that to me would be money better spent. But for most other people, maybe not. Accessories will be standard AR, field strip, track record we've talked about. Question, $1,900? I wouldn't. That's just a review, man. See ya.